Okay, before cutting all this away and building the legs, I want to finish the head. This is smaller than this right here. It's noticeably smaller. It needs to go out further and it has to be a little bit bigger. So, and while I have this nice foundation here, I'd like to build that on there first and then I'll cut all this away. From the neck to the tip is roughly 2¼ inch. So if we call this the neck right here, it just has to go out a little bit further. Right here where my fingertip is. The point is going to go further out and it's going to flare out wider on the sides. Flaring it out wider on the sides will help accommodate the eyes. So I reconditioned me some clay and I'm going to roll me out a snake. So I'll get a little measurement on how wide this is. 1.5 inches. This needs to be considerably more wider. Basically to the tip of my thumb, to the edge of this ruler, is the width. So this is a pretty good thickness. I'm going to go with this right here. However, I do not need it to be as thick in the front. I like to do it all in one piece, see if I can anyways. So in the middle, I'm going to apply pressure in a real focused area. There, now I have a narrowed bottleneck on that. You could probably see that on camera. I'll put the narrowed part in the front. This just reduces how much it's moving the sculpture out. And let's see what that does for width. Almost right on the money. By the time I work this down on there, it's just going to be perfect. I'm going to gently press this down, make a mark. I'll lose some of that once I work it on there anyways. So let me cut this off. I see this as a quick way to change the size and shape of this head, making it pretty easy. That's pretty nice. It's definitely separating the look of this one thing that I had going on. We have a narrow area for a neck, the belly's right here, tapers into a tail. So this is going good for us so far. Just for fun, let's set these on here. We have plenty of room now for these to kind of hang out on here. Just looking for a flat surface pretty much to help smash this down. But now I can just alter this in whatever way. I'm trying to get more of a point on the head of the face. That can be achieved by pushing in like this on both sides. I'll worry about filling this in later. Right now I'm focusing on making the guide correct. I'm altering the guide itself before filling it in. The more I do this, the pointier it'll look. And it doesn't need to be very pointy. It just doesn't need to look like it's rounded and it was I'm trying to break free from the shapes I'm using and make it look like the actual animal instead. That's looking pretty good, like this. You see how it has more of a pointy, has better angles going on right here? That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to work on filling it in and making it correct, and then I can dig out the areas for the eyes. To fill in this little area right here, I'm just going to flatten a teardrop on one side and leave the other side kind of high. And place it right there. Looks a little shallow right here, so I'm going to put a little more clay there too. And it looks like what I'm doing is kind of building up the top side of it all the way across. So now I'll work that on. I'm just focusing on compressing the clay gently to where all those lines are somewhat gone. And I'll do the guide line last. Right now I'm just doing the inner part. So this is a very basic shape that I'm doing. It's more of a flat panel. I know it can have like a ridge where its snout's going to be and stuff. I could do that afterwards once I get this new foundation figured out. These lines are going away quite well. Before getting these on there, you want to make sure they're positioned where you want them. And I just look directly overhead. It looks good like this. I like how it's sitting. It's pretty even and stuff. I'm just going to press down on them. Not too hard, but hard enough to where they should leave an impression. Yes, they did. So now I can take and dig that out with something. All the way around, I'm going to dig in, much in the manner of the shape of the bead. This will remove the clay and make it easier to set them without smashing the whole shape of what I just did. Because if I force it, it's going to move clay. Whenever you force clay, it moves, just so you know. And if this works, they should set in there a lot easier and give me a little head start on submerging them a little bit. Taking note that they are flat on the bottom, I'm going to redo this to where they're not bold so much. I'll just use the same tool and just go back and remove some of the edge of the dome to where it'll give it a flatter surface. So now you can definitely tell where these eyes are going to go. Alright, let's try one more time. That's a lot more what I'm looking for. They fit. They're submerging a little bit. I don't need as much height. That's actually perfect. So some meaningful presses, but not too much. Oh, that's so good. So now we got the eyes on there and it looks so cute. It looks cute. See what that does. I know I want it to be kind of built out at some point, some direction. Probably the inside right here. Like this. And try to mimic the other side as best I can. So what did these two little snakes do for us? It builds up the inner area like a ridge, like a brow, which would make sense. And it leaves it alone on this side, which will allow the eye to have a little bit of height or thickness to it. I just think this would be a good way of making it look like this belongs to the animal that we're trying to build. This inside could be backfilled. So from here, I'm just going to cut the clay to the head, like that. This is a new guide. First I'll cut it to, like I did these right here, I'll cut it like this. I'm achieving that taper with this knife basically. And I don't want that height on the guide. I'm going to smash it down like this. I want to go with this little guide that I did. It increased the height a little bit, just to match this a little bit. That way it's not so pronounced, the rim of the eye. And now I'm going to backfill it with some more little snakes. This doesn't need to be hypercritical, I don't think. When I cut, I'm just rolling it pretty much like at a curve to try to follow this new form that I'm wanting. And this will make it much easier when tooling if you can get these as close as possible to whatever it is you're doing. Just had lightning strike rather close. I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, but I'm feeling good right now where I can work my clay, and I want to because I miss it so much. I haven't been well. It almost looks like a design in itself, but this is I just built this out to where it's just changing the shape of everything here.